government in a dilemma of striking a balance between protecting the health of the people and their wealth. As the government takes steps to reopening the economy gradually, Gaston Good Morning Nigeria said it is the right thing to do to avoid economic paralysis. The guests expressed concern over the obvious lack of adherence to protocols put in place by government to contain the spread of COVID-19.
The health of the people is very important. In the same way, the health of the economy is important. They mutually reinforce each other. But there cannot be a trade-off, between health of the economy and health of the people. For the simple reason that, life lost, cannot be replaced.
We are not doing well with managing the issue of responsibility, especially with regards to how people have decided to flout the several protocol that has been set both by government and industry operators.
The guests suggested that the opening be in phases with preference on sectors that will help promote social distance and jumpstart the economy.
All over the world, the governments are stepping in to see how they can salvage businesses. Because you need a vibrant, business sector. You need the investment for you to even ensure the sustainability of the economy itself.
The informal sector, the service sector in particular, more than any other sector. If you look at it, and it also even affects even the agricultural sector that was exempt.
Urge government to be mindful of the informal sector, which not only constitute the bulk of daily earners, but likely to form a major challenge with social distancing. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Joining us now from Ibadan is Mr. Taiwo Bode Ladipo. He's the manager of your state task force on COVID-19. If we recall, 30 persons out of 31 tested positive for COVID-19 from an organization in Ibadan over the weekend. Good day. Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you.
Okay. Let me take my question, so maybe you just hear me. What does this portend for the state, talking about Ibadan, following the reported case of 30 persons testing positive of COVID-19 from an organization?
Okay, if I get you right, what it portends to your state? Of the fact that we are able to now isolate some cases, we've been able to track better, and we're able to see where we need to focus attention on. However, it puts a challenge to contact tracing, because right now, with the magnitude of cases, we have quite a lot more of people to follow up on. And that has an effect on our surveillance system. But being that it is, we would try and put up all manpower to ensure that we follow up these cases and see our best to cordon off potential levels of transmission from these groups that have been identified.
Now, is that part of contact tracing? I'm talking about contact tracing now. Has it started going on? Because obviously we know these persons that have tested positive might have contacts with some of their family members. What has been done so far in terms of contact tracing?
I'm sorry, I'm not with you anymore.
I said, in terms of contact tracing, what has been done so far? Because these persons might have that have tested positive must have had contact with some of their family members.
Okay, we've taken the issue of contact tracing very seriously. Since we had the initial cases that we identified on Thursday. We've been able to track the potential contacts. We've been able to see the ones that have symptoms and potentials of coming down with symptoms, and we've been able to do more testing. And because of the tests we've done, we've been able to see 8 new confirmed cases yesterday. And we intend to continue along that path.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Taiwo Bode Ladigbo, there from Ibadan. Thank you for your contribution. All right, that was the manager of Oyo State Task Force on COVID-19. And our next stop is Jos, as we join Felicia. Let's find out what the situation is like in Jos. Felicia.
Thank you, Ruth. Welcome to Jos. Plateau State government is intensifying efforts in the search for conventional and alternative drugs for the treatment and cure of coronavirus. To this end, Governor Simon Lalong has inaugurated a 13-man research team to brainstorm towards evolving homegrown solutions for the pandemic. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
Since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, Plateau State government has been working ahead to develop viable strategies to contain the disease. This 13-man academic research committee on coronavirus and other infectious diseases has key researchers drawn from faculties of pharmaceutical sciences, medical and natural sciences within the tertiary institutions in the state. Governor Simon Lalong, while inaugurating the committee, said the state is endowed with human and material resources that are capable of giving homegrown solutions for the treatment of infectious diseases such as COVID-19.
While carrying out this special assignment, I want to charge you to have at the back of your mind that at the long run, all of our efforts should lead us towards establishing a modern infectious diseases hospital in Plateau State and even beyond Plateau State.
Lead researcher Professor Noel Wanan pledged to work diligently towards coming up with solution-based research that will benefit humanity.
I can assure you too, as scientists, nothing is impossible. We are going to work towards that. With God on our side, we shall not fail you, we shall not fail the state, we shall not fail the world.
In view of the emergency of the pandemic, the research team has 1 week to present its proposal to the government. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
A suspected kidnapper connected with the killing of a senior lecturer at the University of Jos has been arrested by the Plateau State Police Command. Briefing newsmen on the development, Commissioner of Police Edward Egboka said the daughter of the deceased, who was also kidnapped along with another victim, were rescued in the course of the operation. Kim Godds has the details.
After a thorough search by a combined team of anti-kidnapping unit and special anti-robbery squad of the command, assisted by vigilante groups and local hunters, the suspect was apprehended.
In the course of exchange of fire, one of the hoodlums was shot on his right leg, Mohammed Aliu, an AK-47 rifle with 29 rounds of ammunition were recovered from him.
I study in Abubakar Tatari Ali Polytechnic, Bauchi. This is my second time. We did the first one around Narkuta.
The team of operatives, on extending their search to different locations, rescued the 6-year-old daughter of the deceased and another businessman who was also kidnapped during the operation.
They kidnapped me by 12 p.m. I was rescued by the police and I was safe. I was brought to my parents' home.
That they will have to go with my wife. I said, no, you can't go with my wife. My wife is pregnant, as you can see. If you go with her, that means you want to kill her. It's better you go with me.
While the manhunt for the fleeing suspects continues, the Commissioner of Police is appealing to the members of the public for useful information that will lead to the arrest of other members of the gang. In Jos, Kim Godds, NTA News.
Ruth, Jos is done. It's back to you in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thanks, Felicia. Even Dealing with the devastating effects of the novel coronavirus, winning the war against it, it's not a big deal if only Nigerians can cooperate and do the needful. Emir of Gombe, Shehu Abubakar, stated this in a message to Nigerians on the pandemic that brings the entire world to its knees. Abubakar Adamu reports.
He hardly speaks, but with the havocs being inflicted on the global community by COVID-19, the Emir of Gombe, Abubakar Shehu Abubakar, could not but speak out with a view to checking excesses of the killer virus.
COVID-19 is real, and everybody is at risk of contracting the disease. It has caused several deaths in Nigeria and other countries around the world. According to our health authorities, the major symptoms of the disease, including high fever, with cough, sore throats, and difficulties in breathing. If you or anyone around you has any of these symptoms, contact the healthcare providers.
The Royal Father believes collective response can make great difference in the war against COVID-19.
Religions have admonished followers to avoid gathering during flag. The stay-at-home directives is in line with our religion doctrines. I urge you to comply with all these, with all government guidelines. COVID-19 is not a death sentence. As a lot of people have recovered, we must show love and support to all victims, including suspected cases and family of those who lost their lives. I want to assure you that times will definitely come to pass and we will get over COVID-19 sooner than later. However, we must make sacrifice for us to be able to overcome, we can defeat this virus.
Though the daily confirmed cases of coronavirus has slightly dropped in Gombe State recently, the state still remains among the worst hit with more than 100 cases. In Gombe, Abubakar Adamu, NTA News.
About 15,000 households in Adamawa State have benefited from food items shared by the All Progressives Congress in the state to reduce the effect of COVID-19. Simon Asher reports that the Palliative is courtesy of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa.
Assisting the people in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic, especially the less privileged in the society, will go a long way in alleviating their sufferings. That is why the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, who is part of the APC, shared palliative to the 21 local government areas of Adamawa State to cushion the effect of the pandemic. Abdullahi Tongo, a 43-year-old father of 5, and a person living with disability could not hide their joy with the gesture.
See, the SDF helped the people of Tongo with the rice and indomie and so many things. We are happy about that. We are very happy.
With a heart full of gratitude, we say thank you to the party and thank you to the donor.
The state chairman of the party, Ibrahim Bilal, among other party stalwarts, who spearheads the distributions across the state, say the fight against COVID-19 is everybody's business and the APC is not left out in this regard.
I want to alert our people about this disease of coronavirus.
We want the people at the grassroots level to feel the impact of the government, individuals, parties that are supporting them at this time. So what we have here is basically indomie and rice.
These palliatives will indeed go a long way to actually help in the efforts towards fighting the coronavirus.
Face masks were also distributed to contain the spread of the virus as each local government area grows home with 250 bags of rice, 150 cartons of noodles for our distribution to the targeted beneficiaries. In Yola, Simon Asher, NTA News.
And from Yola, we're heading to Benin to join Obehi to bring us more reports from Nationwide. Obehi.
Ruth, for joining us in Benin. To cushion the effect of the coronavirus pandemic, the Oba of Benin has distributed COVID-19 palliatives to the vulnerable in the state. This time, the benefactors are orphanages and the physically challenged. Ifoma Okafor reports.
Since the emergence of COVID-19 and its attendant effects
Obaewa II has continued to extend his benevolence to the vulnerable people in the society through his foundation, Obaewa II's Foundation. This time around, the Benin monarch is reaching out to the orphanages across the state. Meanwhile, the physically challenged, such as visually impaired, were not left out in the sharing of the palliatives.
At this time that he brought this thing forward, it's the right time he brought it. I pray that God will surely bless him.
We are very grateful to the Royal Majesty for all that he has done. For remembering us at all, it's a great blessing to us.
This will go a long way to cushion the effects of the lockdown.
The leader of the delegation, Chief Edu Ehato, described Oba of Benin as a father of all.
Oba does not give out favor to those who can return his favor. He does favor to the needy. He gives out gifts to those who knows the value.
Omonoba is sending palliatives not only to orphanage homes, the School of the Blind, to the widows, but also to all those others that are identified that are in need of these palliatives.
The children were full of prayers for Oba for his love towards them. In Benin, Ifoma Okafo, NTA News.
The Ondo state government has confirmed fresh case of coronavirus at Ukiaru area in Akure, the state capital, bringing the total cases in the state to 20. Tony Battery reports that the government is worried about the porous nature of the state boundaries as people continue to flock into the state through bush paths and other unauthorized routes. The report.
The state's Commissioner for Health, Dr. Wahab Adigbenro, while confirming the latest case, said the patient, a woman, was reported by private hospital. After necessary tests was conducted and it turned out positive, he said there is no plan to quarantine the private hospital, but gave an assurance that contact tracing had commenced to reduce the spread of the disease in the Ukiaru community and the state in general.
This particular COVID-19 that we are taking care of is now becoming a community issue. And in that case, nobody can really identify the specific place where anybody can contact it.
Another issue of concern is the situation at the state boundary with other states, as measures put in place to check interstate travels don't seem effective.
If our border is not being porous, we won't have the influence of these cases in Ondo State. Ondo State will have maintained a zero level of cases.
Government has promised to intensify patrols at the boundaries to check influx of people to the state. In Akure, Tony Batire, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Ruth in Abuja has more on Nationwide.
Thanks, Obehi. Welcome back to Abuja. Architect Waziri Bulama from Borno State, Northeast Nigeria, has officially confirmed as the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
That I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the All Progressive Congress and the people of Nigeria. So help me God.
Waziri Bulama taking oath of office as the third National Secretary of APC. Office of the National Secretary of the party became vacant when the former occupant Maimala Buni resigned to seek election as the governor of Yobe State. National Chairman of the party, Adams Oshamale, described the office of the National Secretary as strategic, hence the resolve by stakeholders in line with the party's constitution to look for a capable hand from the Northeast.
We've established a tradition, a convention in the party that when there are vacancies, we inform the region, the geopolitical zone where the office is zoned to consult and forward the name to us. We have used this method to fill all the vacancies that had arisen for one reason or the other.
National Secretary of APC, Waziri Bulama, promised to discharge his duties in the interest of the party.
I will remain faithful to our governance. I will always be there to consult, to receive information, to be
placed before the party for effective decision making. I have no personal agenda of my own.
Members of the party's National Working Committee, stakeholders of the party from the Northeast, including the governors of Borno and Gombe states, Professor Babagana Umaru Zulum and Muhammad Inua Yahya, commended the choice of Waziri Bulama. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Enugu is our next stop nationwide as we join Chinenye.
Thank you, Ruth. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. The Enugu state government has been commended for taking steps to cushion the effect of the lockdown on residents of the state as it battles the COVID-19. Members of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Tricycle and Motorcycle Riders Association, Enugu East and West Senatorial Zones, gave the commendation when they received various food items as palliatives from the state government. Susan Eze has details.
Taking time to educate the transporters from Enugu East Senatorial Zone, including motorcycle and tricycle riders in Kano East, West, and issues or local government areas who converged on Abani in Kano West headquarters. Chairman of the State Palliatives and Emergency Committee on COVID-19 and Deputy Governor Cecilia Ezilo, represented by a member of the committee and a state legislator, Mr. Sam Ngene, assured them that government feels their pains occasioned by the stringent measures it's taken to combat the coronavirus disease. Hence, the palliatives. Same items were also donated to the road transport workers and motorcycle riders in Enugu West Senatorial Zone through the Secretary of the State Palliatives Committee.
These items are from Third Fund, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, and also Enugu State Government. Government takes the welfare of its citizens as utmost priority.
The recipients were all thankful to the Ugwanya administration for feeling their pains.
I'm so much happy. I want to thank government.
While the lockdown on business activities in the state has been partially eased, the ban on interstate travels is still in force. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
With the outbreak of coronavirus pandemic, the use of face masks has become imperative to contain the spread of the virus. Chika Ugu in this special report interfaced with some health experts on the proper way and time to use face masks to avoid health complications.
Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, advised the public to use barrier masks, especially in public places, to help contain the spread of the scourge. Although analysts suggest that the use of face masks can reduce onward transmission of the virus, some people experience facial heat, difficulty in breathing, among other health challenges with constant use of face masks.
I'm trying to breathe forcefully, which is not proper. So I don't wear it often.
Some health experts believe that face masks should be used in public places where most people find it difficult to observe social distancing.
A shortage of oxygen in some cases is what's called hypoxia. So you don't want anybody to faint or feel dizzy or something, because some of these face masks are not as free as, breathing natural air.
Due to the high cost of the barrier masks, which is disposed after it's being used, many have resorted to using cloth-made masks made from fabrics as alternative.
It is better that you have the cloth masks, facial masks, than that you have nothing. In a crisis situation like this, the only way to protect everybody for affordability and availability.
Medical experts advise that it be used to cover mouth and nose, ensuring there are no gaps between. Avoid touching the mask while using it, and to remove the mask from behind. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
And that is it from Enugu. Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja after this commercial break. Do stay.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Shegun. Alpha, say tomorrow still day on.
What's your tomorrow?
Community meeting now.
You know they here, Abi?
Now beggy. See, if we meet for my house, inside parlor, then go no.
This COVID-19 is not a child's play.
If you want to elect the new secretary, we fit
Do one for WhatsApp, or for Skype, or even on Zoom. Or we just wait.
I will not negotiate.
This social distancing, it is not negotiable.
Not every infected person shows symptoms, but every infected person is contagious. Avoid large gatherings and self-isolate if you think you might have come in contact with a carrier. Your safety and the safety of others is in your hands.
This message is from the Akinfade Foundation in partnership with the National Orientation Agency with support from MacArthur Foundation.
I'm Taiwo and I'm Kenny and we live here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. We've lived here for 15 years. Yeah, and we're here to dedicate this video to my cousin, my dear cousin who lost his life due to coronavirus. His name was Baba Femi Adebayo Femi. He was a good guy. And he was in left behind his wife and two little kids, 2 children. He was in the ventilator for 12 days and he died. Anyways, we are here to alert everybody, both Nigeria and diaspora, to please stay safe. It's not enough to say stay safe. Maintain the social distancing, because it's easy to just get into the routine and say that other person also had coronavirus. If I get it, I'm young and strong and I'll be fine. But it's not about us being just young and strong. You know, here in Brazil, we've blamed the president, blamed everybody, but the responsibility still lies on us. Please, if you can, if you have to go outside, maintain the social distancing. Wash your hands all the time. Use your face mask. Use gloves if you can. And once you come inside, you return home, just try as much as possible to disinfect yourself at all times, because it's real. It's real. People don't have to die before we value life. Yeah, and we don't have to also lose our loved ones. If we can tell everybody, if we can inform everybody you know, to please stay safe, stay at home. We don't have to die. My cousin is gone now. I wish I could bring him back. I'm inconsolable. My heart is broken. But please, if you can, stay safe. Please remain at home if you can.
We're glad you're there. Troops of Operation World Stroke deployed to Benue and Taraba states have raided the hideout of one of the most wanted criminal gang leader called Ghana. A statement by the coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Aneche, indicates that 2 members of the criminal gang were killed during the operation that spanned through Meetan village in Utenge Council ward of Kastina Ala local government area of Benue State. Major General Aneche notes that several arms, camouflage shirt and assorted charms were recovered from the operation. Similar troops have arrested 7 militia planning to attack thief villages over land dispute. The operation is sequel to an intelligence report leading to the raid of their camp located at Pelekbewa village in Rukubi Doma local government area of Nasarawa State. Machine guns, camouflage headgears and poisons were recovered from the encounter. Similarly, 20 Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African province terrorists have been killed by troops of Operation Lafia Dole in Borno State. A statement by the coordinator, Defense Media Operations, Major General John Aneche, indicates that the criminals, armed with mortars and rocket-propelled grenades, were intercepted on their way to attack villages in northwest Baga town. Major General Neche notes that several arms were captured from the encounter. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai, commends the troops' gallantry and directs them to remain resolute towards eradicating the crime. Let's look at palliatives now. Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, has formally handed over 4,718 metric tons of assorted food items to Kano State Government. The consignment was released to the state for distribution to the less privileged to reduce the effect of the lockdown order in the state.
The consignment is made up of 10 trucks of rice, 2,438 metric tons of maize, 1,380 metric tons of millet, and 900 metric tons of sorghum. It was released by the federal government for distribution to the poor and vulnerable members of the society. During a visit to the Kano Government House, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, informed Governor Ganduje that the gesture is to ease the economic hardship resulting from the lockdown order imposed to contain the COVID-19 transmission.
To ensure that the poor and vulnerable in the society, including the elderly and persons living with disabilities, are prioritized in the distribution of these relief materials because they are really the most affected in times of crisis such as this.
Governor Abdullah Umar Ganduje, who thanked the federal government for the support, assured that adequate arrangements have been made to ensure successful distribution of the food items.
We have the World Bank data on the poorest of the poor in the state, and all what we needed was to revisit that data and fine-tune it.
The distribution, he disclosed, will be carried out across the 484 political wards of the state. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Old age comes with several ailments which often does not require exposure of the elderly ones to certain environments. In this period of COVID-19, there are high-risk factors which need to be put into consideration in caring for the elderly. Austin Edemodo reports.
The ravaging COVID-19 knows no bound. From children to adults, no one is spared. As cases continue to mount globally, there is growing concern about the health of the elderly ones vis-à-vis the pandemic.
In the elderly, chronic illnesses are more common. For example, hypertension is commoner in the elderly, diabetes is commoner in the elderly, and also terminal illnesses like cancers. They're commoner in the elderly. Chronic kidney diseases, chronic liver diseases, and all that. They're commoner in the elderly. So when they have all of this, their immunity drops. The response or the ability of the body to respond to diseases and fight disease is reduced.
To further protect these elderly persons from being exposed to the deadly virus, certain measures have been adopted by healthcare providers.
We try to protect the elderly. Come to the hospital only when necessary. Like some come to visit their grandchildren, delivery and all. I say, no, don't come, just at home. They'll come and meet you at home because you coming out, you are exposing yourself. And then coming to how to really help them. Now, maybe that, for instance, an elderly hypertensive, he will need his drug refill, usually monthly or 2 monthly.
We put all these measures in place to make sure at each time we don't have too many people in the premises, and it has helped. For those that have symptoms that are suspicious, the moment you come in and your symptoms indicate that, we easily refer you straight. We have an isolation center, a holding room. We take you there, collect your sample, test.
For the aged, remember that our equity plan covers children under 5, pregnant women, and the vulnerable aged ones. Not every aged person is vulnerable. Some of them are registered. Those that are registered are covered. And because of that, they have access to the hospitals, access to the clinics. The ailments were taken care of, COVID-19 or no COVID-19.
At this juncture, COVID-19 precautionary measures must be observed in context with the well-being of the elderly persons in the society, as every life is valuable. I'm Austin Edemodo, NTA News.
Talking sports, Nigeria Football Federation donates personal protective equipment to support frontline workers in Lagos as volleyball stakeholders produce face masks for members across the country to fight against the spread of coronavirus pandemic. Olumide Aguntola has details.
As part of efforts to support the Lagos State government in its quest to reduce the spread of COVID-19, the Nigerian Football Federation donated personal protective equipment, PPE, face masks, hand gloves, and sanitizer to frontline workers in the state. Dr. Olusegun Odoye, who received the items on behalf of the state government, lauded the efforts of the Federation.
It's a small token, but it's also to say a very big thank you because of the way they've been handling this and what they've done for the health of the general populace of Lagos.
And as business owners in Lagos, it is our duty and responsibility to also support the efforts of His Excellency.
And we're grateful to the involvement of the private sector and organizations like the NFF for this kind of gift.
Meanwhile, in line with the federal government directive on the use of face masks, Nigeria Volleyball Referees Association recently distributed thousands of the material to members across the country to fight against the spread of coronavirus.
This is the best way we can fight COVID-19 and fight it to end.
In a related development, the Chairman Volleyball Players Association of Nigeria implored players in Nigeria and in the diaspora to maintain social distancing and other preventive measures against the spread of coronavirus pandemic.
We shouldn't shake hands with our friends, relatives. We shouldn't get too close to people. That is physical distancing.
Also advised the players to engage themselves in physical fitness in order to maintain their fitness at the end of the coronavirus pandemic. With sports update, Olumide Aguntola, NTA News.
And with Sport Update, there we conclude Nationwide for today. Thanks for your company. I'm Ruth Aguele. Do stay safe as you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Elizabeth Abad. I am here to talk about facts. There is so much misinformation and distortion out there, especially on the social media. All it takes is just a click and the fake news goes viral. However, here in NTA, we deal with facts.
My job is to go out there and comb for factual news and information, just the way it is, all in the interest of the nation. I'm Naja Atutijani.
Here on the NTA, we present only the facts, verified. Beware of fake news, don't be a victim. Stay tuned to the NTA.
Especially at this time of the coronavirus pandemic.
My name is Nnamdi Ojipo.
There is a common musical piece flowing from the various cultural displays you have just seen. Did you observe that? It is this member of the woodwind musical instrument shaped like a thin pipe, the flute. Flutes are said to have been found earlier than 4000 BC, as they were made of bones, hooves, horns, reeds, wood, and other natural substances. The word flute comes from the Latin word flutus, meaning breath. It is played by blowing across a hole on one end and plugging certain holes in the body to modify pitch and produce that melodious tune you so much enjoy. In Nigeria, almost all the traditional musical offers have the coloration of the flute. From the north, you have the serewa, the kakakis as the popular ones, sounding off at various gatherings, be it coronations and other forms of festivities. Some communities in the north central have the guido, the mwai, to mention but a few. Moving down south, a stop at the Opela community gives a glimpse of the Ofere to accompany their drums and dances, which is found to be similar in structure and sometimes with that of the southeastern people of Nigeria, the Igbos. Every Nigerian culture seems to have its own attraction with the flute. But what is the place of the flute in traditional display?
Yes, like the swangy. Without this flute, there's no swangy. The place of a flutist is a historian. He's an artist. And the flute itself inspires, because even if you hear the melody from this flute, it's sweet. So it spurs you either to dance or to come and show appreciation.
There is always a message with the flute. The flute stands off to cue the dancers and drummers. The make of some of the flutes is another interesting story.
This is wood, purely wood, carved. Mostly the carvers carved this. This one is the main guido. This is the pick. What you see here is the pick, made from brass. But the main instrument of guido is the reed. The bush you see here, this is the reed. And this, without this reed, everything here is useless. Whatever you see here is useless, because this is the reed gotten from the riverside, a special bush known only to trumpeters. If you go to the water side, I thought I go and show you that this is the reed. You will see it and just read it and throw it away. You will not know it.
They likewise come with dignifying aesthetics. However you choose to blow your flute, remember there will always be a colorful and unifying sound to feel amongst the cultures.
Can we have the menu booklet, please?
Madam, we know the same book for here. See, our food, see our food.
Like you don't have a menu? So how am I supposed to know what to order for or what to eat?
Who the heck recommended this rat hole of a hooker for you?
What do you want? Oh my God! Who is that lousy woman and why are you screaming to the rooftop? Stand up for me and get out! You just said this place is a place? Please don't let that. What are you waiting for? Come here! Take out! No, they hear what?
Do you not know that our enemies have no face? They are indigents of no state. They come from no place. And if this boat capsizes, every one of us will go under. So when the drums sound, let everybody answer.
Do not say, I am the Iroko when the forest is burning. Do not say, I am the Obeche when the forest is burning. Our differences will not stop us from perishing together. So when the drums sound, let everybody answer.
Today's growing trend is the beard. This facial hairstyle is common amongst the youth and the middle age all over the world. What is fashionable about the beard?
It's just a personal thing. As you grow up, you continue to find those things that make you look the way you want. Maybe you're copying somebody's your role model, you just want to be like the person. It's just a personal thing. And I'm somebody who don't like shaving. I don't like going to the barbing salon always. So this is the easier way I can stay out going to the barbing salon.
I just woke up one day, just changed my attitude of keeping beards, and I love it.
From the start, I come from who keep beards, so I don't know. Since I'm a fashion designer, I don't have anything to do with fall, so I believe keeping beards is just a lifestyle. It's just a design. It's a thing I like.
Facial hair gives the men the opportunity to express their looks of whom they are and how they want to be perceived by others. This fashion has been a trend for years. Now, see this one. Check the other one out. Beards come in different shapes and lengths. It can depend on one's choice to suit his looks. These days, lovers of fashion and styles are now spotted with different shapes, such as the full beards, stripe, goatee, round look, as the list is endless. No wonder that beards remain fashionable for men, inasmuch as it is well cared for by the wearer.
Men I've met a few of my friends who have actually told me, I want to grow beards because that's the in thing now, and they feel it's the new swag. So basically, I think I like guys with beards, but please shave it according to, in a way that will approach you.
I keep beards because I've loved keeping beards right from childhood. If I see people that have their beards, how they carve it, keep it clean, I always admire them. Secondly, at least if you can keep it clean, shave it properly, dress it well, it makes you appear neat and decent. Secondly, it gives you a little grading as in aging. When people look at you, kind of, at least you are matured.
If the person shaves the beard well, then it's fine. But if it's big and all, it makes the person look kind of scary sometimes. But then most guys, when their beards are well shaved, then it boosts their confidence.
It also adds beauty to formal and informal dressing of the men folk in a well-shaved look. Oh yeah! Beards have come to stay. Rock it, guys!
The following guidelines for eased lockdown, as announced by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, are effective from 4th May 2020 in Abuja, Lagos, and Ogun states. For public spaces, the following are mandatory: improvised face masks, temperature checks, hand washing facilities and hand sanitizers, physical distance of at least 2 meters, no sporting activities and mass gathering. On travel, these are prohibited: passenger flights, interstate travel except essential services, movement of agro products and petroleum products. Note, there will be mandatory supervised isolation of returnees for at least 14 days. For markets and offices, neighborhood markets are to open 3 times a week from the hours of 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Banks and financial services are to open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Government offices are open only to staff from grade level 14 to 17 between the hours of 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Corporate offices and private sector are open to business from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Schools, churches, mosques, clubs, bars and gardens remain closed till further notice. COVID-19 is real. Take responsibility and stay safe.
Overcoming it from the religion. What can we do as religious people? Because Nigeria, we are all aware that our greatest strength, it is in being religious. And that is one thing that we also have to put to fight this pandemic. You are welcome to this special program once again. It is a special program put together by Nigerian Inter-Religious Council and the Nigerian Television Authority and Abrahamic Mission of Al-Habibiyah. Joining me in the studio to look at this issue is the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, FCT branch, and that is Reverend Dr. Jonah Samson. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And incidentally, I have another chairman of this time around the Council of Imams and Ulama in FCT. Is also the Imam of our Wuse Community Mosque, popularly known as Fuwa Lababidi Mosque. Imam Dr. Tajuddin, you are welcome.
Thank you so much.
Together we'll be discussing how do we overcome this pandemic from religious angle. Now this program is a very, very interactive program that we will take your calls, we will take your messages, and you will also be part of the program when we get there. Today,
Don't touch. It's fake. Don't touch. It's bad. Don't touch. It hurts. Don't touch. It destroys. Don't touch. It kills. You should know where to go. The SON.
Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving lives through standards.
The prevalence of coronavirus in the country is still generating deep concern among medical experts, governments, and most Nigerians, with emphasis on how to contain the spread of the deadly virus, with a view to check the increasing numbers of those infected by COVID-19. The use of barrier masks is one of the several measures